What's up everybody, how's it going? It's Burke, aka Dansg08 here, and welcome to a video I have wanted to make for Final Fantasy X for a long time. In this long video, I am going to be watching and reacting to a speedrun of the game, which is something that I have personally never investigated and watched before. I've always been fascinated about how they do it and what strategies were used, but due to the supreme length of the run, it's something I've never sat down to watch or investigated on a deep level. That changed in more recent times when basically they started to release a new category of speedruns in which you were able to use the cutscene remover mod, and this brought down the speedrun time from 10 hours all the way down to 3 hours. And this particular run that I'm going to watch is one in which the game was completed in less than 3 hours with cutscene remover. So first of all, I want to say a massive thank you to Oddmog, who is the player of this speedrun, and he kindly gave me permission to use one of his speedruns in this way. And so before we get into it, if you do have any interest in Final Fantasy X and especially speedrunning, I would highly recommend that you visit his channel or his Twitch and subscribe and watch these runs happen in real time. Because as of recording this video, this was a top 5 time in the world, and so you may be watching a future world record holder for the speedruns of Final Fantasy X. So a massive thank you once again to Oddmog. What I will be doing in general to explain how it's going to work, I will be watching the speedrun in real time and obviously commentating and sharing my thoughts and feelings as I watch it. There's a lot of it that I'm probably not going to understand, like why certain decisions were made and how they were done, and that's quite literally the point, because someone like me who has played the game to death and knows so much about the game, speedrunning is such a different beast that they're going to be playing the game in ways that probably I've never seen before and making decisions and doing things that, at least at face value, don't really make sense. And so I'm hoping that's going to be a bit of an interesting perspective to see how different it could potentially look from any run that I've ever personally done before. So I'm going to be skipping over any periods of time where it's mostly like dialogue or that it's very formulaic stuff, like for example a Cloister of Trials where nothing interesting happens. But most of the run and most of the encounters and bosses and all of that stuff is going to be there, so we're going to be able to see most of what happened in this run and how they were able to get a time of under 3 hours. The final note is that in the original stream, Oddmog sometimes talks and comments on things, etc. To obviously be able to react to his thing properly, what I did was basically mute the track of his video so that I could freely talk and react to things without potentially talking over him and muddling things up. But I felt like that was the best way for me to kind of isolate the run and then be able to provide my own reactions and commentary over the top. So I hope you guys enjoy this video and show Oddmog a lot of love for allowing me to create this type of content. Okay, standard sphere grid and also the original soundtrack. That I can definitely get behind. Works for me. Of course, with the cutscene remover, things are going to move along pretty damn fast. It's amazing that that tool took so long to appear, but I'm very glad that it did. I've been using it a lot in my runs as well, and it's really helped me out. Speeds up a lot of recording time, and especially for someone like me that's played the game so much, it helps to kind of preserve the story experience despite playing through so much, because I can do a lot of like gameplay focused ones where I basically completely ignore the story and just focus on the gameplay. And so I think especially early on in the run, there's not going to be too much to see. So I'm going to obviously skip ahead. It's not going to be a minute for minute, second for second kind of thing. But in general, because there are cutscenes being skipped, I think we're going to end up basically seeing most of this. And so I'm definitely excited to see how this was all done. Okay, here we go. First encounter. Not expecting anything particularly amazing here. Just press X as quickly as you can. Oh, well, there you go. Already something interesting. Titus defended there. I can only assume this is some kind of turn order manipulation, right? Why else would there be a defense? Yeah, I guess, yeah. Defending here gives him probably the first turn for this one, maybe. Or like, he gets his second turn more quickly. Already I've seen an optimization. Like I would have imagined literally like against the first sin spawns, what else are you going to do other than just mash X as quickly as you can to get through, right? The answer is even there in the first like battle, some defense has happened. So yeah, I can tell this is going to be very interesting, and there's going to be a lot of stuff that completely goes over my head or that I can't understand. And hopefully, I'm sure, like, thanks to the channel's exposure in general with Final Fantasy X, we'll see a lot of activity in the comment section with people explaining how things work. And that was the quickest Dragon Fang I've ever seen. That was definitely quick. I do wonder how much of these runs rely on like critical hits. It's just not really something I think you can plan for. But I wonder, like, the absolute best run. Oh wow, okay, that kind of surprised me a little bit. After how quick the Dragon Fang was, that surprised me a little. Yeah, just like how many critical hits happen in the world record versus, let's say, the second place time. Like, does critical hits make the difference? Probably yes, but it's just not something that I guess you can really do much about. It's so randomized. But you saw 2 of them, 3 of them in a row there. That probably helped make up some time. Moving swiftly on. Okay, so next up we have this one where obviously you try to knock the tank thing off as quickly as possible. So trying to switch weapon there, again, it must be some kind of turn order manipulation going on. Auron hits himself. That's interesting. And Ty's just switching weapons. I guess right now I don't have an explanation for why. I guess they're trying to trigger this thing happening as quickly as possible because it's not immediately targetable. So I think that's the speedrunner's way of basically making that thing targetable as quickly as possible, perhaps. So they must know like the minimum amount of things that need to happen as quickly as possible for you to target it. So that must be an optimization for that. But I'm already impressed at, you know, this very, very, very early stage where the fights are so simple. There's already a few different things that I can't immediately sort of identify as, oh, I know exactly why they did this. It's very interesting. That's why, like, I've got incredible respect for the speedrunners and the speedrun community. The things that they figured out over the years for basically all the games that get speedrun. It's just totally insane. And that's generally the side of it that interests me the most, as opposed to actually trying to speedrun myself. Just seeing how they come up with things. I mean, this is just so... It's such an unorthodox way to play the game. Like, even in the most simple battles, you've seen the player do something that's like really counterintuitive for anyone that's just played the game casually, or even someone like me that's played the game a million times but never optimize it for speedrunning. Even there you're seeing different things, so to come up with this stuff, it just requires playing the game with a whole different kind of outlook and mindset. It's very interesting. Okay, here we go. The ambush is always the same. This one, I'm pretty sure there's absolutely nothing you can do to go fast. Oh, he defended. Yeah. This one, okay, yep, defending, that makes sense, because there's just no point. The fight's scripted anyway, so that's obviously the quickest way to get through that. We can move forward towards click here. There's a quick heal, which is interesting, and the Aeon animation's got adjusted there. Okay, fine. Interesting that he took the heal there. I would have thought surely you can just go to the sphere and just do a quick cancel. I wonder why the heal was the better choice there. That's interesting. I would have thought just literally going to the sphere grid and cancelling would be quicker than going into the menu and healing with the 2 potions, but again, this is a reaction video. I'm sure for everything that I don't understand or doesn't seem like it makes sense, there must be a very good reason for it. They've been speedrunning this game for so long now that they've probably dissected everything down to the atomic level. As we face Click, let's have a look. See if we can spot anything quirky for this one. Obviously, being able to evade Click's attacks, if the RNG goes your way for that, it's probably going to save you some time. And while I don't know how often like they reset stuff, like even at an early stage, let's say, I don't know, if you don't get a certain number of misses from Click, already you just reset because you've wasted a lot of time. I don't really know. So using the grenades, of course, it's going to be the quickest way to do damage. Stealing some more, that's a nice, I think that's a rare steal. And a nice critical there as well. And not using any more grenades here. So toss the grenade the first time, but then a normal attack and then a grenade. Okay. And there's going to be 1 grenade left in reserve. Okay. Ooh, right at the end. Okay. Not sure if that's a scripted thing, if you're guaranteed to have one here, but stealing more grenades, that's a rare steal, it must be. ×2. And just opting for steals here. Wow, double rare steal. Surely those are rare steals, they've got to be. I don't think they give 2 grenades as standard. For some of this stuff, of course, I'll put in my own edits for just pure gameplay mechanic stuff that I don't remember off the top of my head. But 2 double grenade steals in a row, that's really going to help against Tross, obviously. Going to be much quicker damage. Okay, so we got these fishies first, continuing to steal, so instead of using a single grenade to kind of wipe them all out, it's still steal mode at the moment. Tidus getting the job done quickly anyway. Okay, here we go. Next boss, Tross, 6 grenades. Yeah, so if there's 6 grenades, I'm kind of surprised that maybe 1 wasn't used against the fish. Tidus isn't attacking at all. That's interesting. That's why I guess it's probably going to be done purely with grenades. No, he is attacking. Yeah, to me at least, it's not always immediately intuitive why defenders use sometimes instead of attack. My obvious logic is got to be some kind of turn order thing. So grenades still work from this side. Okay, that's cool. Grenades got the range. So using standby instead of defend here for Tidus. I guess that probably fills up his overdrive gauge more, so it's probably more useful. And should be dead now after this one, right? Yeah, that's rapid. Nice. Okay, swim section with Waka. I assume again in these bits you're just kind of hoping and praying that you have as few encounters as possible. Is there any value in going for chests, for example, down here? I am curious also to see which chests they pick up in this run. Obviously, Tidus taking the double and Waka taking the single, because Waka can't take out the doubles in one hit unless he gets a critical, pretty sure. And well, again, it's a bit of a combination, I guess, because the random encounters will, of course, help you to level up a bit too. Not sure how much of the sphere grid they're going to use. Like, very interesting stuff to come. So, ignoring the first chest. It looks to me like, in general, the chests are going to be ignored at this early stage. I mean, a lot of them don't contain particularly important stuff anyway. If I had to guess, I think they'll get away with just 2 encounters here. I would assume the realistic minimum is 2 here. I don't think you could probably go below that. 3 is probably the most common. Maybe 4 if you're unlucky. Let's see. Gonna be close. Yeah, 2 encounters. Nice. Now, if there's one thing that I feel like you probably can't speedrun too much, it's the Cloister of Trials. So let's see the first Cloister of Trials in this speedrun. Even with cutscene remover, you have to watch this one. It's like, that's how bad the cloisters are for this kind of thing. Not even a mod can remove this fluff. That's funny. Okay, so nothing to report so far from the tutorial fights at the start of this save, but let's see what happened against Kimari, if there's anything interesting going on here. Any like defending or weapon switching or anything like that going on? Or if it's just going to be straight up, back and forth. Nice critical there. Another critical, nice. And some evasion. Yeah, I mean, that fight went super well. Metal shield was dropped. Not sure that's going to be particularly useful. Again, that's another one of those things. I think there's a bit of a glitch with the weapon. That's kind of funny. Yeah, in terms of equipment, also I'm very curious to see what they're going to be using, like heading deeper into the game, once they're actually able to maybe customize and that kind of thing. I always love that flyer, that's your department, right? And then Waka's reaction. Let's see how Valifor tackles this. Physical attacks, or sonic, or using magic. I assume you probably go for something more physical because you can still benefit from critical hits if you get lucky. I think maybe the magic does the more damage, but maybe the critical hit opportunity balances it out. We'll see. Black magic. Okay, fine. Yeah. Vanathor's magic is very good in relative terms, so... But, are they deliberately going to let the overdrive gauge charge here? To save like a Vanathor overdrive for something else? Because obviously I have to assume that using Aeon overdrives is probably one of the quickest ways to take out bosses as well in the future, but I don't know. Yeah, so even though, well, I guess it still worked out pretty perfectly. Yeah, I guess you pretty much fill up the overdrive gauge anyway. But the 2 evasions there were also nice. So we'll see if and when Vanathor's full overdrive gets deployed. Maybe since Finn, who knows. Bright Arm Guard, that seemed like a good drop. Is he going to equip it? No. Ah, so the sphere level usage comes in. So didn't bother with, didn't even waste time with the defense there. That's interesting. But took the cheer and also the strength, of course. This one. Okay, so now we're physical attack there. That's an interesting one. Okay. Yep, I guess that's probably the quickest way to do it. Maybe with Yuna you had to attack there. Not sure why he didn't go for the escape with Yuna. Maybe that like guarantees that you can escape afterwards or something. So from here on I assume they're going for the kill. I think obviously because escape has that innate failure rate, it could waste you time if it doesn't work. And these are all one-hit kills, so you might as well take the experience, I guess. And you get to see the Lulu victory celebration, so I guess that's always worth some time, right? Okay, so that's that. Basically, next up should be Sin's Finn. There's NPCs you can talk to here to pick up some items and stuff. Not sure if that's going to be needed, or if there's any one of them that specifically gives something nice. Like even the arm guard for Waka that protects against darkness hasn't equipped it. Speaking to this guy, the money. Okay, he's taking the money, and that's it. Okay, fair play. All right, here we go. Curious to see how this gets tackled. Yuna's in the front line. Okay, Lulu comes in, and immediately, since Finn is targeted here, I want to see if the Vanathor overdrive gets used. Defend from Tidus, and surely, yeah, it's the Vanathor overdrive. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I think normally if you don't do the Lulu spell first, I think there's a chance you won't be able to kill it. Didn't get Energy Blast, by the way, just Energy Ray. Not worth the extra time, I guess. 1,100. Okay, it's even less damage than I remember. Fair enough. But maybe with Vanathor's magic, you can finish it off. Yeah, this animation time takes a while. Wow, I forgot. Obviously, because the overdrive has such a long delay. It's interesting that this is still the quickest. Like, my initial reaction to this is like, this doesn't seem like the quickest way. But again, whenever I feel that way, just ignore me. I'm pretty certain it is always, whatever you're watching here is probably the quickest implementation that's known for how to do it. But definitely interesting. And well, I guess it gets you a second overdrive, and that's probably why it's also done, because in the grand scheme, obviously Yuna's going to get more powerful, and so are these overdrives. So I guess if you can survive and take out Sin while you have a second overdrive, then I guess, even though you probably can go a bit quicker for this fight, in the long run it's probably better to fight it this way. That would have to be my guess. Cheer is used. Okay, here we go. Dark attack hits, that's really nice. Second cheer comes in. Cheer was always one of those things that I used to wonder, like the amount of turns you take to cast cheer, and if you do it 5 times you get like a third extra physical damage. Was it always, like, is it worth that extra third of damage for those extra animation times? So they've used it twice. It's the kind of thing that must have just taken so much testing over the years, where like you have the attempt where you just purely attack instantly, and then you measure up against the cheer animation time and which one's quicker and all that kind of stuff. But I assume the aim of the game is to see if you can try and win without without healing here. And well, we do have an overdrive, so maybe that's also another reason. When you have an attack that already does a decent amount of damage, like Tidus's overdrive, you get some extra benefit from cheer. But is it going to get used? Is the question. Because he had a chance there, obviously didn't take it. So maybe he's saving it for another battle here. No? Okay. Let's see. 568 and the overkill. Nice. Maybe that's also why it's done, actually. Because obviously I'm sure at this stage everything is so optimized that every run that he does, he probably has Tidus with an overdrive in this fight, and he kills it with an overdrive every time. So I assume all of this stuff is like really locked in at this stage. Also want to see if he interacts with any shops. Like, does he buy anything from anyone other than, say, Owaka? Does he take any time to go into any shops and buy anything? Okay, taking the left path. Interesting. So this is the force battle where Kimahri has to learn Seed Cannon. I assume he's going to learn the Seed Cannon, get the full overdrive, and then not kill it. Like, not use the Seed Cannon here. Yeah. So this takes a little bit of extra time, but obviously having Kimahri with a full overdrive must be more useful in the long run. And I guess you can set up your party for the random encounters ahead here. Okay, so this chest was deliberately claimed here. The Scout, this definitely does help. And a little bit of Sphere Grid work. Flee, okay, obviously crucial thing to learn for this, I assume. And the Ice Strike helps him take out some of the enemies here in one hit, I guess. Must be useful. And still going for the kills here. And more. Everything remains basically one-hit KO for now. But no one else has basically cashed in any sphere levels other than Tidus right now, I think. He's the only one. Not even fighting Lord Ochu. What kind of speedrun is this? Okay, Tidus gets the first turn. He's got the best agility, so he's got the highest chance of getting the turn first. And they're off. Okay, so already it's time for Sin Spawn. I always mix up which one it is. I think this one's Gino. Are the tentacles going to be attacked? So Tidus defends immediately here. Both of them defend. Yuna comes in. And yeah, okay. So to break through as quickly as possible. Does this hit the tentacles too? I assume it does. So I guess this is a nice way to get Lulu back into the mix as well. Let's see. Is it? I couldn't tell. It was too quick. Yeah, it does. Okay, that's nice. And well, I guess you get some extra AP as well from the overkills and stuff. Now, is Valifor going to be dismissed? Probably not, because again, you want to charge up Valifor's overdrive if you can here, I assume. Let's see. Yeah, not taking much damage here. But this could hurt a little. 115. Yeah, okay, keeping Valifor here. 379, that's pretty good. So you can see really like trying to use the Aeons to their fullest extent here, even at this early stage. So there's this nice balance of using its overdrive and then the Aeon staying alive long enough to charge up the second overdrive while basically killing the enemy as well. It's going to be close. And then, okay, it does use the second one. So it doesn't keep the energy ray for the next fight. Just uses it, cashes it in now. I guess we are going to get Ifrit anyway. And so probably Valifor's already done what she needs to do at this point. Formation switch, and now we have some stories. So I think I can pretty much skip ahead here, surely. Okay, so now we're on the way back from the temple. Nothing of interest happened at the temple itself. In these situations, though, I definitely think it's probably the best idea to kill everything in one hit when you can. Going this way this time, picking up the other chest, it seems, even at the expense of more encounters, so it must be worth it. Let's check what this was. I think that was a luck sphere. Interesting. Yeah, so even for this one, not fleeing. Again, so far at least, only Tidus, I think, has had any sphere levels cashed in. I'm really curious to see what he does with the rest of the party. Does everyone? Like, does he go through a lot of the game without even really bothering to increase the levels of other party members? Because I think once you get to Mihen, at least, you're not going to be able to one-hit KO stuff if you're going to not increase the sphere level, so that should be interesting. No shop stuff so far, no extra potions, no talking to a Waka, just moving the story on as quickly as possible here. Jack shot. Yeah, okay, they're taking time for the Jack shot here. The Jack shot was missed there? Okay, that's interesting. I guess it doesn't matter. Maybe it's quicker to miss the Jack shot, like you don't rely on it anyway in the game. Like, that's interesting. I guess you probably play to lose the game, right? Losing is probably quicker than winning here. You don't need to win the game. But the strength sphere is probably useful, surely. So, and now I'm curious to see how they're going to handle the Blitz game, because it looks like they deliberately fumbled the Jack shot. Obviously, I think the cutscene that ensues, the dialogue and stuff, is probably a bit longer when you actually succeed. So, I was sure that they were going to take the Jack shot, but even in the Blitzball game, I guess the animation takes a long time. So, yeah, it's probably more of a time drain than it's worth. Okay, so talking to a Waka this time, let's see. Got any weapons? Selling a few things here. Basically selling almost everything here. Even the Bright Ring. But they get the Stunning Steel as a result. Okay. Stunning Steel, of course, has a slow touch, which could be very useful. And well, in the future, I'm sure Sonic Steel is going to get brought as well. It's another reason to take the random encounters sometimes as well. Obviously, if you don't, then obtaining gil is probably going to be a bit of a problem. I guess if Lulu can one-hit KO them anyway, I guess there's no point in Tidus and Kimahri actually attacking here. Because obviously, again, my logic would have been, well, you just smash X, right? I mean, at the end of the day, they're still contributing. They're going to do damage. So why would you not do it? But I guess the animation time makes it probably not worth it if Lulu can kill them in one Thunder Spell anyway. Okay, a little bit more Sphere Grid work happening here. Quick move over to the Strength and to the Haste. Taking the MP, but not the Accuracy. So the Accuracy got deliberately skipped there. I do wonder how many of the random encounters they're going to be fighting overall. So haste has been cast on Lulu here. He gets 1 haste, basically. But because we have quite a few Machina here, I think for this fight it definitely seems a good idea to do this. Okay, so they took care of those guys. I'm not showing everything in its entirety. You get the point. Can get the MP back, I assume, to haste up against Blitzerator as well. Obviously, got to be using the crane here to this. That's got to be the quickest way. Lulu hasted once again. So we can power up the crane as quickly as possible. I think other than that, they must just be waiting here. See, cursor memory must be a godsend as well. So it should be 3 times. Should spring to life. So there you go. Blitzerator was obviously taken out very quickly. And from here, I guess it's the Blitzball game, which I'm definitely interested to see in terms of how they handle it. Because like I say, I feel like they probably want to throw the game. Waka is being used now, so they're using strength, and that's literally it. So you can see like how important strength is for speedrunners. They're not even bothering with a lot of the other stats. Like Waka just skipped through everything, just gave him the strength, just kill things as quickly as possible. Don't worry about like abilities or whatever. That's insane. Okay. Yeah, what is the quickest approach for this game? Again, I've got to assume, like, if you get the ball, like, either you need to score or you need to let one in. It doesn't really matter, I think, which one happens. Is he just going to swim behind his goal here? No, he's going to go for it. Oh, no, okay, wait. So I think he's trying to win here. This looks like the type of stuff that I try to do when I'm trying to beat these guys. No break. Okay. Because obviously this has got to be one area in which you could lose a lot of time, so you have to be very careful. So interesting methodology here. Okay. I think Jasu is slightly quicker than 60. I think 60 is the default speed, and I think because of Jasu's speed, if I'm not mistaken, he's very slightly quicker. And I think for that reason, he can basically run rings around everybody. But obviously the game's going to keep going into overtime, so either he needs to score or he needs to let one in. So I'm not sure which one's going to be the better option for him. So yeah, pretty much ended the first half by just swimming around and not letting the goers have the ball. The timer doesn't run in like 1-to-1 in terms of seconds, it's a little bit quicker. And so I think in terms of raw time, this has obviously got to be the quickest way to run the game down. Second half should be more interesting. Yeah, I guess the Tidus pass was probably like the whole Tidus interaction there was done so that he could get at least enough experience. I think as long as he performs like one action, I guess he can gain the use of Sphere Shot. So I think he's going to try to maybe win the game, but we'll see. I guess if he won the Blitz off, maybe he tried to win the game, but because surely he wants the Strength Sphere. I would have assumed that that's a big asset in a speed run. And well, because you just can't control what the goers do, I do think depending on whether you get the Blitz off and what the goers do, surely there's got to be a version of the speed run where you win the game and a version where you lose the game. So it's definitely interesting. Let's see how this gets handled here. Surely you've got to go for the win. This is a pretty good position to be in, I think, to try and win, but no. Interesting. Because, I mean, something's got to give here, right? It just feels to me like Blitz is one of those ones that's a bit harder to kind of choreograph and have every speedrun attempt have the same thing. So I guess he farmed for the defender position here to be able to free up Tidus so that he has a clear run at goal. Yeah, so he baited them out here. This was a nice strategy, so clearly he's going for the win. And this looks like pretty perfect timing. He's going to score just before Waka comes onto the field. I think he's going to get a clear run here, or maybe just one defender. Yeah, it's going to be tight. Yeah, okay. It's just him anyway, it's not a problem. Okay, nice. Yeah, I just wonder if there are versions of this where they don't get the Strength Sphere, or basically every successful like high-ranking speedrun needs the Strength Sphere and needs the win. Otherwise, maybe they abandon the attempt if they can't beat the goers or something. That's what I'm definitely interested in. And so from here, I guess what you don't want to do is let in a goal. Because that's obviously over time quite literally going to drag things out. So I think they want to get the ball back as quickly as possible. I think, I'm trying to remember, when Waka comes on, is it 50-50 for the blitz off? Or it's always the goers or always the Aurochs that get it? This was perfect timing because Grav was about to score there. This is completely ridiculous. Like, very, very fortunate there. Let's see. If Letty gets it, it's game over anyway. Perfect. Nice. Yeah, with that one I don't remember if there's a chance for the goers to get the ball there. But in any case, this game is done, and the Strength Sphere has been obtained as well, which I'm sure is going to be very useful. Okay, time for the longest, most time-consuming battle in the game. There we go. But it's kind of crazy how like front-loaded the speedrun is. Basically, the time is just under 3 hours, and it's already almost an hour, and they're still in Luca. It's pretty wild, like how long it takes to really get into the meat of the game. There's, even with cutscene remover, like to be almost a third of the way through the speedrun and not even be out of Luca yet is it's pretty crazy. So the Stunning Steel doing its job there. Will they take time to heal Tidus here? Ooh, ouch. So Waka just defending here. Interesting. So I mean, if you're in a situation where you don't do that much damage, even instead of just like trying to chip in and contribute, it's better to just defend, I guess. If you have a high damage dealing person, just leave it to them. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, picking up the chests here, definitely want to get those HP sphere and stuff. I'm sure it comes in handy. So eventually they are going to start cashing some of that stuff in. Even if right now they're doing a very minimal amount of sphere work. It's clearly going to be implemented at some point. Now, Mihen Hyro got to be one of those places that drags a little bit in a speedrun, and depending on how many encounters you get and stuff and which ones appear, probably can create quite a bit of variation in your runtime. So this is obviously the forced encounter. Formation switch there, bringing in Auron, I guess, for the beefier enemies. But like Lulu's not there, so for example when the white elemental appears, let's see if there's much more fleeing going on here. Yeah, the first encounter is fleed. I'm more curious as to what he doesn't flee. It's that balance again of like knowing what's worth fighting and what isn't. And again, over the years for the speedrun community to figure all of this out and really optimize it must have taken a hell of a long time and a lot of effort. I guess against Chocobo Eater, thinking ahead for the next boss battle, you probably just let yourself get pushed off. That's probably the quickest way. It's got way too much HP to try and take it on straight up, I have to assume. So already, like, stopped accumulating AP, stopped accumulating gil, just pushing through as quickly as possible here. It's fleeing constantly. And well, you need a bit of fortune, I guess, to not get too many ambushes and stuff as well. I think provided things happen under normal circumstances, Tidus gets the first turn. And with that, it basically allows you to flee every time. So that time, the enemy had the better initial counter value there. That surprised me. The dual horn should have like really low agility, surely. I think that was a bit unlucky there. I feel like the odds of that particular thing happening was pretty low. Okay, maybe the dual horn has better ICVs than I thought. Fair enough. At the start of Miihen, he was basically getting the first turn even against like wolves and evil eyes and all that kind of stuff and just fleeing. But in the last few battles that hasn't happened, so maybe it's much more of an even chance of getting the first turn or not. Interesting. So Auron's been taken out. But the strategy continues, pushing through to get to the end. But these aren't even ambushes, but they're basically being... Mechanically, they're kind of almost no different. Yeah. Anytime this encounter comes up, the dual horn's getting the first turn. That's interesting. Yeah, did not expect that to happen. So the first half was different to the second half, but nothing was fought regardless. Time for Chocobo Eater. Interacting with the shop, interesting. What are you buying from the shop? Okay, you're selling. Fine. So this is all stuff for, I assume, the Sonic Steel later. Didn't give any money to Awaka. So don't need a discount, I guess. Selling the items is still going to be enough. Yeah, so let's see what happens against Chocobo Eater. I have to assume... Yeah, hasting the Chocobo Eater, basically getting thrown off the cliff as quickly as possible. This is the fastest strat. That definitely doesn't surprise me. For such an early game boss, it has a huge amount of HP, but obviously the fact that you can lose to it and still continue the story is kind of built into it, I guess. And there you go, already pushed off the edge. Nice. That definitely makes sense. Anything from Awaka? Nope, it's ignored. And now things are starting to pick up a little bit. Ambushed. I assume the fleeing will continue here. Oof. Nasty. Obviously none of the chests here that you can get using a chocobo seem to be particularly important. So let's see if and when he's going to start to re-engage with the random encounters again. Or from here on, is he going to be okay to basically flee most random encounters and still have enough like experience, skill, abilities, whatever it might be. Because obviously, you know, you do this stuff, but then once you start getting to more significant areas of the game where, like, you know, bosses have 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, 70,000 HP, if you haven't been gaining the experience along the way, what's going to happen? What's your kind of tactic to do as much damage as possible? Obviously, thinking ahead, surely, you know, you've got your summons, you've got Riku's usability, you've got Riku's mix overdrive, so clearly there's going to be some trickery involved with that stuff to do very high damage, probably without relying much on strength or magic. But obviously at this point I have no idea which particular path is the best one for the speedrun. But basically, as of Miihen, everything starts to get escaped from. Interesting. What? Why? What's the deal here? Why did that happen? That's so weird. So he triggered off a Fungar battle and then bleed. Yeah, no idea what happened there. Again, if I find any of this stuff out, I'll definitely annotate it in, but me not knowing what the speedrunner did is quite literally kind of the point of these videos. So even someone who knows the game, who's played it as much as I have, there's going to be times where I'm completely stumped about why certain things happened. Sometimes I'll probably figure it out later, and then sometimes I just won't have a clue, and someone will have to explain it to me. Okay, so went here and then went back, because I noticed he bypassed Awaka the first time. What is he doing here? There's something he wants to pick up, clearly. Continuing to flee. Oh, is he doing a skip? He's doing Operation Miihen skip. Okay, yes. This one I know of. This was obviously quite a big find. I'm pretty sure what he's trying to do here is a way to basically skip the whole Operation Miihen sequence, and you skip Sinspawn Gui as a result, so this is huge. I can imagine basically this guy kind of pushes you past like an invisible wall that's usually there. I guess not. Or maybe he pushes you enough to then... This is fascinating. I watched the skip when it was probably first discovered, like when it was a new thing on the scene. But I haven't seen it be done in a very long time. So I think maybe this guy kind of runs back again, and this time he pushes you past maybe. So there's not too many ways to break the game in order to gain a significant advantage in a speedrun, but this is definitely one of them. This is probably one of the most famous ones. The Operation Miihen skip. Even if this took another 5 minutes, the amount of time that you save is crazy. Okay, so here he comes again. Let's see if he pushes him past. So you keep talking to him and he kind of just like nudges forward, I guess. But you must have to be very accurate with your positioning to get the skip. And there you go, it worked. Nice. Man, whoever discovered that the first time, that's one of obviously the most significant discoveries in Final Fantasy X speedrunning. Like the amount of time saved there, especially in the pre-cutscene remover era. Like I'm just thinking the whole Mushroom Rock route, and then all of the cutscenes there, all of the dialogue, Sinspawn Gui Mark II, and then trying to come down. Like, that's a massive time save. It's insane. And it's also cool that I guess even when you perform this skip, like the game doesn't break as a result. Like it could have done some kind of check to say, hold on a minute, you haven't actually done Operation Miihen, you shouldn't be here right now, in the game like soft locks or something happens. But it's cool that the game, for speedrunning purposes, that the game kind of lets you get away with it and just progresses the story as if you've already done it. Okay, let's see if he engages anything on the road here. Well, not going to have much of a choice. Wow, that was fortunate. Gotta assume we're getting a flea. No. Okay, he's taking the Lancet because he wants the Stone Breath. Yep. That's going to save him a lot of time. Thinking ahead, I've got to assume Seymour and Anima. That's got to be when it's used, the Guado Guardians. Must be taken out very quickly with that. So he's not speaking to anyone, not picking up the chest. There was the soft ring, I think, here, but I guess he doesn't really have a need for it. I'm still thinking of why he did the Fungar like tutorial thing. That was so weird. Is that part of the Operation Miihen skip? Do you have to have done that to perform the skip, I wonder? If you do, I definitely don't remember it from the first time I saw the skip like years ago. That's one, like, that's such a specific thing. I think I'll look up what happened there. Or I'll see if Oddmog actually said anything. I'm basically doing this on mute so that I don't have to keep talking over him while he's saying stuff. But yeah, still continuing to not engage with anything here. There was a Jose skip as well that was discovered later, I think. The Miihen skip was first, I believe. And then a Jose skip was discovered, but I'm not sure if we're going to see it. I definitely remember something about a Jose skip. But he seems to be running straight into the temple, so either it maybe got patched out, or maybe it's not a thing anymore, I don't know. That one I have a much more vague memory of. So he's dived into the Cloister of Trials, so maybe it's not a thing. Yeah, I don't think there's a Jose skip available. That's something I'll definitely annotate in, depending on whether it ever existed in the first place, basically. Or if it got patched out or something later, I don't know. Or it's extremely hard to do. I think that one, maybe the Jose skip is so weirdly, like, difficult to do that it's not repeatable, maybe, as easily, so you can't implement it in speedrun strategies as much as the Miihen skip. Okay, into the travel agency. And they're doing this thing again. I wonder, okay, maybe there's a... Maybe there is something to it in terms of... If he uses another skip here, it might be some kind of precursor for setting up a skip. I don't know. That one I've definitely got to find out why that happens. Okay, so this chest was picked up level 1 key sphere times 3. Other than that, the moonflow path has been just skipping everything as quickly as possible. And that's the only pickup that I've seen. I don't know if he's going to buy anything from any of the merchants at the moonflow, if it's worth it or not. Extractor feels like it could potentially be a bit of an annoying fight with the depth charges and stuff. Don't think he's going in there with an overdrive prepared. Yeah, Titus is relatively close, but there's no overdrive farming going on here. And I haven't seen like an overdrive mode switch or any new modes obtained or anything like that either. So zooming straight through here. And immediately just going to ride the shore path. Fair enough. Let's see what happens. Basically, Waka having the Thunderball again is a big bonus here. Pretty sure you only need to do 500 damage to stop depth charges from happening, which should be pretty doable. Waka has the overdrive, but I doubt he's going to use it. We'll see. Still basically no sphere grid in terms of HP. Nice critical there to start. 229, that's not a huge amount of damage, but surely in this fight he's got to heal. Be very impressed if he gets through this fight without healing at all. Haste comes in now. Yeah, especially with the haste, definitely, well, you can slow Extractor and you can haste. So depth charges is not going to be a problem here. Switch to the Brotherhood, I guess, for a little bit of extra damage. Yeah, okay. I think, does he want an overkill specifically here, I wonder? Because like a weapon switch and then using cheer instead of continuing to attack, like, surely a reason for that must be hunting for an overkill, possibly. Because, I mean, you don't need it to bring Extractor back down. It's going to come back down regardless. There must be something else to it. But yeah, I guess with the slow plus the haste on both Tidus and Waka, you probably can get away without healing. I keep forgetting that Tidus has haste, it's just so powerful. It should basically be dead soon anyway. Excellent. Nice. Yeah, that was rapid. Yeah, so still unsure. I guess if you use cheer, then maybe it guarantees that it doesn't get to rise up a second time, maybe. Like, it will make the difference between having to watch the animation a second time or not. Possibly. Not sure. But already, Riku joins the party. Things have moved really quickly since you started, like, skipping encounters and stuff as well. We've got from, like, Luca to almost Guado Salam in absolutely no time at all. Very, very quick. Okay. Are we using the bomb cores here? So Ultra Potion is what was used here. That's interesting. Seeding an extra high potion. And then fleeing. Wow. Okay. Right, finally some more sphere grid action here. It's been a while. Obviously got to be cashing in that HP, surely. Okay. And agility. So I think accuracy is the thing that's been ignored so far. And I think that's it. No one else is getting anything else. Fair enough. Yeah, there don't seem to be... I wonder if they're going to try to steal from anything here. I don't think so. No, Riku's not even in the lineup, so he's not interested in anything that's in these chests. Or maybe he is. Okay, Riku gets swapped in. This is interesting. So maybe he wants some experience points for Riku specifically here. I guess Riku is going to be featuring quite heavily from now on, so he probably wants to get her up to speed, and well, her HP is quite front-loaded as well, so we're back to actually engaging with random encounters again, at least some of them. Yeah, not this one. Yeah, again, curious to see what he's going to steal from and what he's going to leave alone, for example. Yeah, all of this stuff, the chest there and stuff just got ignored. Guardo Salam, another place that benefits greatly from cutscene remover. Yeah, okay. So he did grab the lightning marbles there. I was wondering if he was, but that one is it definitely seemed like the kind of thing that could benefit later on. Maybe against something like Crawler, just toss a bunch of those. Okay, from here onwards, I think gameplay-wise, things get more interesting for me. The difficulty starts to go up, the boss battles become more frequent and dangerous, so let's see how the speedrun is going to handle the Thunder Plains. The fleeing continues. I mean, at this stage, again, like, you can't really one-hit KO most of this stuff. The lightning was dodged, by the way. I assume allowing yourself to get hit is probably a worse idea. And take more time. So no stunning steel here. Switch back to the Brotherhood. Because obviously it's gained its full power now as a result of the far plane scene. So it has a bit more strength available. Water and sensor. But still not using it to actually attack anything. But the agility is just about holding up here. And no sign of Riku being used in any of these random encounters. Steal anything, any kind of prep, nothing. Just continuing to go straight through here. I'm very impressed at just like the extent to which there doesn't seem to be much need for any preparation. I would have thought surely even in a speed run, there's got to be some steals and stuff that you probably go for to get some items that can help you later, but just nothing. Just blazing through everything. So especially once things get more difficult, I'm very curious to see what moves are being used with such little preparation. Like there's quick kind of small things happening, like for example Kimari coming in and lancetting off the basilisk. Like there's stuff like that that you can see, okay, like that's a, you know, that's a bit of a chess move, thinking like, you know, half an hour ahead in the speed run when you might need it. Well, when you definitely will need it. I'm pretty sure it's got to be Seymour and Anima that you'd use it for. Yeah, like even thinking ahead now, like Anima. Ah, here you go. Grenade being used here. Interesting. Yeah, I guess relatively close to the inn, so that if anything goes wrong, you can heal up pretty quickly. If you start engaging enemies like early in the Thunder Plains, or like when you're relatively far from a save sphere, probably chances of something going wrong is higher. Picked up the shield. Equipping it. Okay. A very rare equipment change there. So Riku is now on the front line. Again, they're not even bothering to steal anything. No need to try and steal like a lightning marble or anything like that. Silver hourglass. Ambush. Oof. Well, helping to charge the overdrive gauge is not a bad thing here for Riku especially, so that's probably a good move. I would assume probably that's why Riku's on the front line here, honestly. Because she doesn't seem to be there to actually fight. And there you go. I think, I'm going to annotate this in, but I think the Iron Giant is programmed to attack. That particular attack is done on the character with the lowest HP. So it's a strategic choice to kind of have Riku there. You know she's going to get attacked. Yeah, so deliberately charged up Riku's overdrive here. Definitely a very good idea. And so now I assume it's going to be back to fleeing again. Got hit that time. I don't think ultimately it makes a huge difference, but... Yeah, Tidus doesn't have a full overdrive, but I think his strength is just not enough, even at this stage against bosses, to probably make much of an impact with Spiral Cut. So, I don't know. To be fair, I think it's been relatively fortunate there hasn't been that many ambushes, especially early on. Like, if you have the lizard and the more like dragon-looking guy, if they ambush you, then you could be in massive trouble. But Tidus does have lightning proof, which would have probably saved you in that encounter, but still. I think this was a relative, like this encounter, if you get ambushed for this one, it could definitely be a bit dangerous. But there you go. Makalania. Nice. Alright, shit's about to kick off soon in terms of boss battles. Okay, guild chests are pretty much always claimed, it seems. Ooh, there you go. So there's an example of some danger here. Okay, thankfully Kimari managed to escape first time and so did Auron, otherwise that could have been definitely dangerous. Does he heal here? He probably doesn't. Or does he? Changing up the formation, bringing Riku back in here. Okay, yeah. So I think Tidus, because he's the flea master, you don't want to deliberately doing this to avoid encounters for the rest of it. I think that's definitely the best way to do it. Still saves you time ultimately, I think, if you get an encounter in that small stretch. So Riku back on the front line here, and some steals have started to happen. She is quicker than Tidus, so under normal circumstances she should get the turn before him. So steal and flee is obviously a very nice combination here, every time you can pull it off. Yeah, okay. Nice. So maybe again, didn't use it in the first half of Makalania to kind of protect Riku a little bit more maybe? So swapped out. I guess that's all he needed. Very economical play. That was literally it. I think it stole like Arctic Wind and 2 fish scales. That was literally all. Wow, it happened again. But surely this encounter should be fine unless that happens. So this is all a bit of RNG here, but thankfully Auron played ball. So you can already see things starting to get a little more risky here. Tidus getting petrified, no chance to flee, stuff like that. So I guess you want as few encounters as possible, so tap the butterfly. And it's already time for Spherimorph. Let's see what he does here. Does he talk to Awaka? He does. Yep, too pricey to bring the price down. Sells the Stunning Steel here. Even the Stunning Steel is gone. And of course the Sonic Steel has been brought, and Auron actually gets a better weapon too. Interesting. So the Sonic Steel is huge. Obviously from here onwards you basically... the chances of a random encounter killing you is 0 now, because you can always first strike and flee. So this is a nice like checkpoint. From here on, random encounters, unless you want something from them, I guess is no longer an issue. Let's see. Even Auron evaded that. Nice. So he makes the first move. Counters with Blizzard. That means he's weak to fire. What is he going to do here? A mix comes in. Yeah, okay, nice. So basically he made sure he had a mix of every single element, so that regardless of which one Spherimorph uses, he has a counter mix to basically do as much damage as possible. And there you go, wow. That was so quick. So there you go, extremely economical play. That's why he only needed the fish scales and the Arctic Wind. So he had the bomb cores from the Moonflow chest, he had the lightning marbles from Grotto Salam, and then he stole those 2 as well. So yeah, prep the overdrive in on the Thunder Plains. So just like really smooth, really well thought out run here. Ah, Kimari making moves. Interesting. He basically teleported him straight down to there. Broke the lock. And the other one, and brought him onto, yes, okay. So immediately went for the second steal and use. That's definitely a very smart way to do it. Surely he's going to activate them, right? Okay, yes. Yeah, I think people who've played the game like a decent amount have started to learn things a little bit more about the game and understood how powerful Riku is. It starts to become basically the best path for Kimari to take. But I just love it, man. Like, the confidence of the run. Like, everything is so well thought out that literally, like, the idea that you just move through the run and knowing exactly which node to activate and which one you don't. Because I just look at that and I think, just activate the HP node. It's right there. It's just like an extra 200 HP. Why would you not take it? But it's so optimized that, like, even an extra 200 HP, if it's going to take you a half second to activate the node, you just don't need it. So it's like, why would I activate a node that I'm not going to use? So everything is just so, like, tightly planned out. It's very, very interesting to see. Can't believe that it just skipped out on, like, the HP for Riku. It's so funny. It's insane. Alright, let's see. Crawler. And, well, he had to give up Riku's overdrive for Spherimorph, so it's not the easiest enemy to damage, but he's probably just going to spam lightning marbles here. Negator is gone. And then, yeah, lightning marble spam. Yeah, this is, I saw this one coming. I guess if Spherimorph was weak to lightning, it probably would have made things a little more difficult. Interesting way to play this. Is he going to use like a Mega Phoenix? Does he have a Mega Phoenix? Okay. I guess this is, again, the quickest way to do it. Riku gets a full overdrive as a result when he gets countered. When she gets countered, sorry. Yeah, and then she could probably use a high-level lightning there. Lulu comes in. Phoenix down. Yeah, so again, it's all about Riku. And the counter damage from Assault is so big that Riku charges up her overdrive gauge very quickly as a result. So there you go. 2 battles in a row where Riku's elemental mixes are going to win the day. But again, it's a bit of a gauntlet, because like from here, now you have Seymour and Anima coming next. And so what is Riku going to do in order to kill Anima as quickly as possible? Let's see what kind of preparations happen. Okay. Straight on. Sphere Grid work happening again, but not much at all. Okay, broken this lock. That's interesting. Moved ahead to... what is this? Ah, just, okay, nabbing the early strength here. And some HP. Okay, yep. So agility, HP, and strength, basically, where possible. Nice. Okay, activating the strength +4 that was obtained from the Blitzball tournament. And there you go. So he's really motoring now. That's made a big difference. So skipped out even on the HP node at the top. Didn't waste time with that. Some big increases here. Wow, this is rapid. Oof. Yeah, breaking that level 2 really made a big difference there. Tidus got a lot stronger very quickly there. I guess that's going to be very helpful against Seymour and Anima, so that's a big preparation there. So they're going to rely more on Tidus here to do the heavy lifting against Seymour. I assume, does he even need to talk? He got like an instant, like a +12 or something, strength, maybe more. So especially with talk, I think against Anima as well, when Anima's boosted, he's going to do a huge amount of damage here. Wow. So Stone Breath, I assume we're going to see to get the Guardians out of the way as quickly as possible. And then Tidus is just going to assault Seymour and Anima and make it through. But then we have Wendigo. And Wendigo has a decent amount of HP plus a Guado Guardian of his own, so we'll see. But this is cool, man. Like, seeing how thought out and how intricate everything is, so economical, it's really fascinating to me. Yeah, Kimari's in the lineup with a full overdrive. There's no way he's doing anything other than that. Hasting himself up, of course. Yeah, this takes out the Guardians. Okay, she just chills. Get talking, get a big strength boost. Seymour! Okay, so Auron being brought in instead of Riku here. I guess Riku can get taken out in one hit, so that's why you don't want to bring her in if she gets targeted there. 3,800 from Tidus. Absolutely beastly. Very, very impressive. Yeah, that sphere grid work earlier was just insane. And again, they're probably just like taking on just enough encounters to basically have enough sphere levels to make that jump at that particular bit. Brilliant. Okay, Tidus is going to go ham here. The damage is going to be nuts. Everyone else is going to defend, yeah. I'm starting to see that happen. Interesting. I guess because he knew pain was coming, it was a way to just protect Tidus. That's probably the only thing that he was doing there. Because Tidus couldn't get a second turn there. I think that must have been the only reason. Yeah, this time he'll attack, so that's all it was. It was just protecting Tidus. I didn't look at the CTB properly. I thought Tidus had another turn there, so I didn't see why that happened. But that makes a lot more sense now. Okay. Alright, here we go. He has the lightning protection from earlier. Again, this is all very well kind of prepped because basically... perfect, yeah. Because basically Seymour follows a particular order in which he uses elements and lightning always comes first. And lightning always comes after the Blizzara one, so if you choreograph the turns correctly and do things in the right order, he's always going to use lightning there. And so as long as Tidus has his lightning armor prepared, he's going to be able to survive that first turn. So yeah, just brilliant strategy here. Really, really cool. And Riku did steal some silence grenades, so I'm going to skip through here, basically going to head out to when they complete the cloister. No way they're using the destruction sphere here. Now, can you avoid any of the Guardos here? I think you can. I don't know if there's any RNG involved in this, like whether they catch you or not. I feel like maybe you can make it if you're like very optimized. I think I almost always get at least one here, but you might be able to make it. Let's see. If even the speedrunner gets caught, then there's no way. But yeah, I think if you hug the wall tightly enough, you just about make it. Yep, straight on. Kimari, Riku, and Tidus front line here. Tidus hasted himself. I guess Tidus is strong enough now that he doesn't have to do too much, really. Yeah, just attack Wendigo. Almost 3,000 damage already at this stage. That's nuts. Okay, so yeah, we have a nice mix there. And obviously having Riku out there against Seymour, having her get hit by the multi-Thundara, that's another way to charge up the overdrive. So it's just extremely effective usage of like the overdrive here. When you know what you're doing and everything's planned and optimized so well, like you can just get that overdrive back so quickly. So I think maybe in this fight, again, instead of just straight up killing Wendigo here, deliberately charging up some overdrives. Yep, so all of that is just obviously deliberate to make sure you get the overdrive. And Spiral Cut, saved it for a rainy day. Yeah, at this stage obviously it's making a big impact. Look at that. Poetry in motion. Awesome stuff. Really, really good. Okay, so I guess there's a bit of a lull in proceedings here. We'll see when we need to pick things back up. So it basically, it's almost like most people are no sphere grid other than Titus, basically. But having him do like significant damage like this obviously makes a big difference. But yeah, this is one that you can't flee from, I think. Ooh, just about survives. Maybe you can flee after Lulu comes in as well. That might be what he's doing here. Yes, okay, fair enough. So let's see if anything gets fought against here. I would assume not. It's just going to be Sonic Steel Escape. And he's not taking any Albed potions here. Okay, so this is the first encounter he's actually engaged. He's going to want to steal the smoke bombs, yeah. That definitely seems like a good thing to do. But he's probably going for it here. Interesting. I guess this is an overdrive charge situation. The zoo does do a lot of damage, so I guess again it's overdrive prep for the mandatory home fights. Also curious to see if he does try to go for the teleport sphere, because obviously evading counter for a normal playthrough is incredibly useful, but the way that this has been going, everything's so optimized, they probably don't need to bother with evading counter. They can probably get through okay without it. This time not engaging the zoo. Maybe wants to do a quick heal first. No, not interested. I guess shadow gems could be very useful from the worm as well. So I feel like surely, other than that, he's stolen 3 smoke bombs so far. That's been it. Probably doesn't need any more smoke bombs. But I would imagine shadow gems are surely useful. He's taken this route, which I think is a bit of a shortcut. Anything here? Nope. Okay, yeah, he's going for it. Okay, there you go. Okay, shooting star. Nice. I thought maybe he's going to try and do something else here, but yeah, shooting star, excellent. And there you go, a very quick pair of teleport spheres. Let's see how he's going to use them. Sphere grid. Or is he going to use them on the sphere grid? He might not need them as an evading counter, actually. I'm so used to using it for that maybe I'm wrong. He's not done anything with it yet. So we'll see when the teleport spheres come into play. No shooting star this time around. Let's see what he's going to do. Just flee. This one, you don't have to fight it. Ah, he's doing a little... Is this like a skip? What's going on here? I think it might be a skip. Or he's trying to manipulate the turns or something. Like get a certain type of encounter to happen. Ah, okay. Well, there you go. That's some kind of skip there. I guess it's still worth it instead of trying to fight because you have all of the confusion and you don't have a nice one-hit KO like Shooting Star at your disposal. I guess that's still the best way to do it. So we have some mandatory fights in home. Really motoring through the game now. Let's see how he handles this. Because, I mean, Riku's still just sitting there with, like, 360 HP. But I guess that helps her charge the overdrive quickly. That's probably my assumption. I think, like, stoic overdrive modes and stuff, if you have lower HP to start with anyway, every hit is going to do a greater portion of your maximum HP. And so you probably charge your overdrive a lot more quickly, and for Riku, that's the main reason they need her, I assume. So that's another reason why Riku's deliberately kept a low HP, I have to imagine. Nice, another Stone Breath here. Underrated move for challenges. And so let's see what's going to happen against the 2 Chimeras. That's obviously the most dangerous encounter. And there's no Stone Breath to get a quick win. What is going to be used instead? Riku does have a full overdrive, she's ready. But let's see what she's going to do. Lancet from Kimari, grabbing that Aqua Breath. It might even be more so for, I was going to say, it's not because he needs the Aqua Breath, it's for the Stone Breath. Beautiful. Again, I was looking at Riku's full overdrive gauge thinking if she uses it now, then against Evray, she probably won't be able to. I'm trying to keep thinking ahead. And yeah, then obviously you saw Kimari fill up his own overdrive, and it's like, ah, I see. Very nice. I was going to say probably claiming this one, because that's going to be another level 2 key sphere. We are rolling. So next up is going to be Evray. I think I can skip straight ahead to Evray. I doubt I'm going to see anything interesting before that, but during these segments I'm basically kind of fast forwarding through, and if I see anything interesting I'll comment on it, but should just be straight to Evray. Yep, so I guess all of the preparation against Evray has already been done. There's smoke bombs available, which is very useful against Evray, of course. Riku has a full overdrive as well, so let's see what's going to happen here. Tidus can do a lot of damage too. So Riku is going to mix up a miracle drink. Interesting. Okay. Very well. Critical hits going up. There's another one. So 6,000 in one hit. Very nice. So not even using a smoke bomb right now, which surprised me. Again, the confidence here. Like, you know, the strategy, everything is so, like, perfectly optimized and set in stone that you don't need to bother with something like smoke bomb. So a noob like me is like, oh yeah, of course, they've stolen smoke bombs, they're going to use it against Evray because it's useful. Nope, don't need it. Everything's too perfectly prepared and set up here. It's really, really impressive. Look at that. Absolute mince meat. All it took was a cheer and a haste and a miracle drink. Boom. Like, it's the kind of thing that for me, like in a million years, I'd never think of a strategy like that. Like relying on a miracle drink and then the critical hit rate of that and stuff. It's crazy. Super impressive. But let's see if any prep work is going to be done here. She's pretty evasive. Maybe that's why he's using her here. But yeah, Tidus absolutely running rampant right now with all of the strength boosts that he's got. It does strike me increasingly that you have to win the Luca Goers Blitz game. I feel like if you don't, you're going to be... like, some of these strats might not work if you don't have the extra +4 strength. Kimari using the smoke bomb here. Interesting. Okay. I mean, this is not how I would have imagined them being used. There you go. There's silence grenades too. They've yet to be used. So, yeah, I mean, basically the only reason the smoke bombs were stolen was for the damage. It wasn't actually for darkness, which I obviously assumed would be the case, but there you go. It's just purely quick, guaranteed damage. Okay, very nice. Now, again, thinking ahead, I'm like, well, what happens in the View of Purifico? I think there's one last encounter here, yeah. Or maybe one more after this, actually. Yeah, so the smoke bomb's continuing to be useful here. And then, yeah, this is where the silence grenades come in. So there you go. So you needed 3 silence grenades and 3 smoke bombs here to get the job done. Well, you need to steal 3 of each. Bomb core used on this guy. Okay, nice. Yeah, just about enough to get it done here. Not quite. Okay, still got the move in. I thought it was going to kill it. Fair enough. I don't think it's going to change much. And I think anything that helps Riku get another overdrive is probably generally welcome in the speedrun. So yes, my friends, even for speedrunners, they have to suffer through the full Bevelle Cloister of Trials experience. Nothing particularly interesting that I saw here. They got to do what we all got to do, but just do it as fast as they can. No shortcuts. HP sphere claimed. Can't proceed without it anyway, but they don't bother with the other treasure, of course. So, this is another one of those interesting things for me where I wonder what are they going to do. Obviously, they have summons available, which should be fine. Managed to avoid the encounters up to here though, and already you get to basically go with Auron, so yeah, that's pretty perfect. I assume if you're unlucky, you probably run into an encounter, but Auron getting a little extra work here. Probably breaking through onto a expedited strength program here. Same way that Tidus did. Yeah, I think he's doing the same thing here. Magic increased by 3. That's an interesting thing to claim there. Ah, teleporting. There you go. So not being used for evade encounter. Yuna's strength increased by 4 as well. And I guess this probably helps the... I don't know, it's more so I think for the Aeons than for her. Because obviously any benefits that she gets, her Aeons get in a big way. That's why he's taking the defense as well, because normally why would you... So far at least he's not... I don't think he's activated a single defense node until now. So again, very strategic. Like, he skipped one of the HP ones there. Like, in my head, I'm like, why would you skip that HP? Just take it. It's right there. It would take you an extra split second, but again, everything just so tightly calculated that this is the way it's got to be. There must be like a minimum number that you need, and so you don't waste any extra power spheres that you don't need to waste. Again, the agility sphere there, not claimed. The one next to the strength sphere didn't take it. Fascinating. I think that's just one of the things that I'm of course most impressed by, the sheer calculation that's gone into all of these strategies. And knowing the bare minimum, the most economical way to move forward, like what to claim and what not to claim, is fascinating. The amount of testing it must have taken to figure all of that out is just nuts. Okay. So in this fight, again, it strikes me as interesting that this is still the quickest way to do it. As opposed to, say, I don't know, he took like Tidus on that path and gave him a big strength boost pretty quickly. I felt like Auron maybe had the sphere levels to kind of do the same thing. Like a similar amount at least. And because he has a higher strength stat to start with, I thought maybe you could bring Auron up to a strength level where he could one-hit KO this guy himself instead of the whole Ixion summon sequence. But I guess especially after the first time, you can summon Ixion pretty fast. So yeah, no intention of building up Auron strength at all here. It's going to be like the Tidus, Riku, and summons show, it seems. With a bit of help from Kimahri's Stone Breath, I guess, when needed. And well, his ability to use as well definitely helps. Let's see which combinations he goes for against Isaru's Aeons. Going for Bahamut, okay. Yeah, Bahamut would have got a very beefy strength boost here as a result of what Yuna's been doing. So I think he's probably just going to like 1 or 2 hit KO. And Bahamut can break the damage limit as standard, so I think the summons are going to make probably a pretty big return here. And he's going to pump a lot of stats into Yuna as well, I would have to assume. Because their strength just scales like crazy. Let's see. Yeah, 10,000 there. And so I think any kind of boss battle in which you can just summon an Aeon and just slap it out, it's probably going to be a good strategy. So I feel like that's probably not the last time we're going to see Bahamut slap something to death in this speedrun. And again, there's definitely been some like swapping in and out and that kind of thing to make sure that Yuna gets the experience points needed to make that little trip that she did. But the sphere grid work has really impressed me a lot. It's one of the things that, just like as someone who knows the game really well, like there's some unorthodox things. Like some of the stuff a lot of us would just already know. Like, obviously moving Kimari onto Riku's grid for the extra steal and use is something that we've probably all done or understand why it's a very good idea. But a lot of moves on the sphere grid is just like, you know, it's just so well calculated that I always knew that would be the case, but seeing it in real time for the first time has definitely been pretty fascinating. And so yeah, Bahamut continuing to slap everything out here. Okay, so he can't summon Bahamut here, of course, but Ixion comes next. $4,100, okay. Thankfully, he doesn't have to wait for animation time for anything that Bahamut does. And again, the amount of strength given here, it's so well optimized that it's just about enough hits here to take out Bahamut before you see Mega Flare. Or is it, actually? Got 2 turns there, but I think it should just be enough. Yeah, like if Ixion had, I don't know, 5 less strength, I don't think you can pull this off. So once again, it's very tight. Underwater, I assume they're just going to flee everything and then just use the Phoenix Down. Well, multiple Phoenix Downs on every Altana. At this stage, it's become clear that there's absolutely no interest in anything like evading counter. It's just unnecessary in the playthrough. So 6 Phoenix Downs here, more than enough to get the job done. And well, enough HP to survive the counter as well. So this is probably one of the things that's calculated into how many HP nodes does Tidus need to activate. One of the answers to that question is enough to survive a counter attack from every Altana. Because there's no doubt that he's going to get the first turn because of his Sonic Steel, so he's going to have to be the one receiving the counter. So all of this stuff, I assume, it just it gets baked into figuring out like what the minimum stat requirements for everybody is for a run like this. And it's high bridge time already, so straight back into the sphere grid. Teleport once again, yeah, heading towards the bit that Tidus was on to get all of those extra juicy strength nodes. So those are the 2 teleport spheres. They've both been used at this point. But there's so much strength available in this part of the grid that this is going to really just push Bahamut to huge levels here. Honestly, it's looking to me like I think that's the strat for Seymour Natus, because I think he banishes Aeons, but I think you're allowed at least to move against him with your Aeon. And so if you do that, then you could probably take him out in a single hit. He was already doing 10,000 before all of these increases, so that's nuts. I haven't been able to track, because obviously he's not using any time to check the status here. I have no idea what the actual number is at this stage, everything's happening so fast, but Bahamut must have a lot of strength at this point. Like a huge amount. So I'm definitely curious to see if literally from here on a lot of the strats are to do with just one-hit KOing bosses with Bahamut summons. The fact that he can break the damage limit as standard obviously just unlocks so many, just unlocks such a huge opportunity. So Tidus has been kind of carrying the load, but it seems like even Riku is not being used that much. Like, obviously the few boss battles she really helped out with her moves, like with the overdrive and stuff, but I don't know. It seems to be the case that from here on it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be the summon show. Shit, that's insane. So it turns out that after 20 years of speed running, I guess, discussions and formulations and analysis and all of that kind of stuff, the fastest way to complete this game is to power up Bahamut as quickly as possible and to have him just slap the shit out of basically every single boss. I don't even know if at this stage you really need to do anything with random encounters anymore. That's what I'm interested in at this stage. Like, how many bosses? I'm trying to think ahead for bosses where that wouldn't work. So he did 46,000 there. That wouldn't be enough to kill Flux in one hit. But would there be a way to get 2 hits against Flux? Not sure. Because obviously got the banish move. But maybe there is a way to get 2 hits, not sure. Okay, steel comes in. Fire gems have been stolen here. And then fleed. Okay. I wonder if anything else is going to be necessary here. The fire gem's an interesting steal. Well, I guess there are overdrives too, right? Maybe Bahamut has a chance to just come in with an overdrive. And you can beat Seymour Flux with an overdrive instead of a regular hit. So that can be done. Another fire gem's been stolen. That's 2 at this point. Other than that, I'm just thinking ahead. Unalesca, obviously going to be an interesting one. Multiple phases. But the way it's going, Bahamut's going to slap out the first 2 phases anyway, and probably by then we'll have enough strength to slap the 3rd. So it's looking like Bahamut should be able to basically take it all the way from here. I'm not seeing too many things that can stand in a souped up Bahamut's path here. Obviously Kimari can take on Biron and Yenke, that's not going to be a problem. He's got a few overdrives at his disposal as well. Pretty much whatever variant of challenge or game you run, Kimari's always going to be fine against those 2. Spectral Keeper, again, has good defense, but not enough to stop Bahamut, I think. And then already you're at Seymour Omnis slash Braster's Fine Leon. So I think from here on, like, the run to me is like, it's done. Like, it's a formality from here. It's probably not like a huge amount of ways to save time from here onwards. Like, the setup kind of looks complete. I'm not sure how many more strength nodes Bahamut needs to basically get the absolute sort of, basically probably get to like 99,999 or something of that sort of level, because he hit Seymour for 46k, and the way the damage scales in this game with strength, probably doesn't need that many more strength nodes to start hitting like 80 to 100,000 against stuff. So for me at least, it looks like the 80-90% of the work of this run is already finished now. But let's see. Yep, Yuna comes in, Bahamut summoned. I just love that he has like 2,115 HP, because he hasn't worked much on Yuna's HP, but it doesn't really matter. 33,000 against Defend X is just about enough. Again, very good optimization, because if Bahamut has 5 less strength, he's going to need an extra hit to take out Defender X. But again, everything been super well calculated that he has enough. See? Why? He's recruiting Durin for this run. That's what's going to happen. Cavern of the Soul. This is interesting. This I 100% would not have guessed this. There's something in particular that he wants here. What is it? Is it like no random encounters farming? I think he's trying to find a ghost and farm for no encounters. Because that's of course going to speed it up. There's a long way to go here. And yes, obviously you get the first strike plus flee. But imagine like the animation never triggers in the first place. But no, he's running back now. What is he trying to do? He's not gone deeper. What the hell? Oh, okay. I thought he was leaving again. I'm like, why is he leaving again? So I guess this has got to be one of the most like potential time-saving things here in this playthrough. But again, he's got into a certain number of encounters. Oh, okay. So this has got to be one of the main reasons why this run is a top 5. Like, this could have taken an extra like 3 minutes, 5 minutes, or even longer to get this particular encounter. I don't know why this is such a low poly version of Ixion. That looks very weird. Okay, so is this like... I forgot what the drop rate is here. Ooh. Holy shit. That's something I got to look up here. As this run continues, I literally on my phone, I'm looking up the drop rate here. That's got to be the that's the run right there. Like basically, once you find the peaceful shield here, that's like the final big ingredient here. That's insane. That was so fast. Equipment drop 23% supposedly. 2 to 3 slots, 1 to 3 abilities. That's a low rate, man. Like if you half it, because obviously you need a weapon, you need an armor instead of a weapon, that's already down to 11%, and then it can drop Death Ward, MP plus 10% or no encounters. So if it's a flat rate for all of those as well, it's like a 3.5% drop or something like that, just with some very rough kind of things. And there's those fire gems coming in. So yeah, I completely forgot about the potential of getting the no encounters there until he went into the Cavern of the Stolen Face, then it clicked. But he got that so fast. So I guess the theoretical like quickest one, because obviously even getting the ghost encounter is not enough, and then you have a very low chance of even getting the peaceful like armor. And that's tough, because like you've got to play for over 2 hours for even the opportunity that's going to make the difference here. So now he's breaking Lulu out of the grid. This is interesting. At this stage, I thought Lulu's not going to have much use in the run. What is he going to do? So it continues to surprise me here, just when I think, okay, there's nothing really else left to do here. Maybe he used her, yeah, okay, he just used her to break the lock, I think, more quickly. Osmos, interesting. Okay, yep, Yuna learns Osmos. So there's going to be at least one battle where he's going to have to rely on something other than Bahamut doing the work, it seems. Or maybe not. Okay, activated the Osmos to use the return sphere. It wasn't because he needed Osmos. Yeah. The sphere grid hopping is just nuts. Grab the extra agility afterwards as well, okay. Nice. Yeah, building something to basically just make everything even more quick in terms of summoning Bahamut and slapping it as quickly as possible. No encounters. That's the run. So from here on, it's literally mandatory fights only, and Yuna's going to come in and summon Bahamut and kick ass. So for a second there, when Lulu sphere grid action started happening, I was like, wait a minute, like Lulu's going to be a factor in one of these fights? Nope, they just used her as like a stepping stone for Yuna to get some more of the stuff that she needed. So yeah, a lot of the sphere, I think that for me is the single kind of the thing that's needed the most, I assume, like strategy and calculation and optimization, like knowing which sphere grid paths to take. And because it's like a trickle down effect, right? So you have the sphere grid, and first of all you have to figure out what to activate. And then once you've figured out the most economical path to activate everything, it's like, what is the set of ingredients that we need to do this? So it's like, for example, it's like we need 3 return spheres, we need 2 teleport spheres, we need 1 black magic sphere, we need this, that, the other. And then it's like, what is the quickest way to get all of these things? And then you piece it all together and you come up with, obviously, what you're watching here, with obviously a bit of RNG, making the difference between whether you get a world record time or whether you just get a very, very quick time. So yeah, it's definitely been mega interesting to see how they figure this out and broken this game open. So coming in with a Silence Buster first, this leads me to think that Bahamut can't win with a single slap here. Let's see. Because surely Silence can't stop like Banish from happening. Surely it's not used like a normal spell. Let's see. 1 turn here for Bahamut. He uses Impulse. 39,000, 22,000. Multi-sorption is going to happen. Okay. But now Seymour's going to get turns, right? Ah, it doesn't use Banish because it's probably going to go straight to... Oh no, it does use Banish. Okay, fine. So it's not quite Bahamut one-hit KOs everything from here onwards. That's fine. But I think Silence Buster's still going to do a job here because you're not going to see Flare. Keep doing that. And I guess Tidus is going to try to bring it home here. And look at that strength from Yuna. She's been stacking, man. Holy shit, she has the most strength out of everybody. Easily. So Yuna and Tidus putting the final touches on here. So this is still quicker than... Yeah, because no other summons can break the damage limit here. There's no point, even if you can get quad 9 damage, the whole sequence of summoning and then dealing with banish, etc. is just not... It's not going to be quick enough, so it's still probably better to rely on physical attacks from Tidus and Yuna. But you can see how safe everything was there. They didn't face a single attack for the entirety of Seymour Flux, despite it not being a one-hit KO fight. Brilliant. Now, interestingly, the Peaceful Shield has been taken off. So they deliberately triggered an encounter there with the Dark Plan. Now, I gotta know, when I was doing this in the last series of live streams, I managed to hit it first time. I feel like for streamers, it must be automatic. They must know the placement. Like, there's no way an elite level speedrunner like Oddmog is gonna miss the hit here. Surely not. Let's see. Yeah, there's no way. Like, it's definitely something that even for someone like me, I'm pretty consistent at hitting it quickly. I don't think I hit it first time very often at all, but it's the kind of thing you can definitely practice, I think, as a speedrunner and make sure you nail it first time. Alright, so the trials are done. Moving on to Sanctuary Keeper now. Again, at this stage, just wondering for every boss, is Bahamut going to be enough for the one-hit KO and done? So zipping across again to a different part of the grid here. Armor break. Okay, fine. So yeah, I guess you can deliver a really nice 1-2 punch where possible with armor break and then just let Bahamut slap afterwards. But Yuna's also so powerful, it's like, do you even really need it? Armor break. Yeah, still summon. Okay. Yeah, that's a really nice 1-2 punch there. And I guess, again, it's been carefully crafted to make sure that Tidus has more agility than Yuna, to make sure in those scenarios he's going to get the turn first. He has a Sonic Steel anyway, but they want to make sure that in a situation where basically two characters have first strike, the one with the higher agility is going to have the priority. And so you can always deliver that 1-2 punch when it's available, basically. So that's really smart. Alright, so I've moved ahead and into Zanarkand. A chest has been claimed here. Friend Sphere. Again, the sphere grid is so important that any opportunity to, I guess, like fast travel on the grid is being taken here. Almost Unalesca time. This chest also been claimed. Lux Sphere. Interesting. Let's see, another sphere grid thing coming up here. Friend Sphere moved straight over to where Lulu was to claim even more strength here, and luck. Very nice. At this stage, running low on sphere levels themselves, I'm wondering, is this basically close to the limit? Are they going to do anything beyond these final spheres here? Use a return sphere for that? Just, I guess, just to save like the extra sphere levels for something else. So literally to move one node, instead of using a sphere level, they used a return sphere. That's the level of optimization we're talking here. That was nuts. And here we go, Spectral Keeper. Let's see what happens here. Bahamut gets summoned. Is it one-hit KO territory? It must be at this stage, even against Spectral. It was relatively tough. No armor break available against this guy anyway. And 34,000. Okay, fair enough. Bahamut's got enough HP to take the hit here. Not a problem. Take 2 hits. And a nice full overdrive here as well, which is probably going to be used against Unalesca. Can probably take out the first 2 forms and then save the overdrive for the 3rd form. That would be my guess, but we'll have to see. Going to move straight onto that now. I can't imagine it's going to be anything but Bahamut here. I think it really is the Bahamut show from here on. Not going to see much else. So I assume like regular attacks for Form 1. See the damage, 68,000, sheesh. I would assume again in the 3rd form might not be enough. Let's see. Form 2, how much damage are we going to get? Hellbite is not going to affect Bahamut very much. But Absorb will. This is obviously specific to Aeons, it gets used in these later forms. 67,000. Maybe it is just a triple snap. I thought maybe Unalesca's 3rd form is a bit tougher, but maybe not. So might be saving the overdrive for a future boss then. Mega Death. It would be kind of cool if it worked against Aeons as well. I kind of think they should have made it work against Aeons for anyone trying to spam against her with it. Yeah, normal slap is enough. Yeah, I guess Unalesca's defense doesn't really go up by much. There you go. So from here, next up we have the Sin battles, right? We're already closing in now. We're basically going to see the credits roll in less than 20 minutes of real time. That's crazy. So from here, I assume Impulse is long range, and it's more like, I don't think it's affected by the tough exterior of Sin here. So I think it should do normal damage. Let's have a look. Again, this is why Bahamut's so useful here. 41,000. Brilliant. Yeah, Bahamut's an absolute beast. Long range assassin as well. Don't need to do no armor break, don't need to move closer. None of that is needed. Don't need to use any magic. 2 HP spheres, probably not needed, but still. Yeah, I just didn't think it was possible to get Bahamut this souped up. Like, I would have thought the sphere grid work needed from Yuna to get this far, you would have needed a lot more encounters than what I've seen. And so that's why I think, so far at least, the single biggest thing, like, takeaway that has impressed me is the sphere grid routing to get through to this bit. Was that critical? I think that was a critical hit. Nice. Wow. Insane. Yeah, to get Yuna the sphere levels that she's got, like the sphere grid progress that she's made that quickly, I think that's probably the single thing that's blown my mind the most about the run. So yeah, once again, Impulse is such a crazy move as well. I remember in my earliest runs, I used to use Impulse quite a lot when I needed Bahamut to help me. Like, let's say the first time I ever went to the Omega Ruins and I was getting abused. And I was just starting to get destroyed by the enemies there. I just wasn't ready. Bahamut would come to the rescue. And there you go. Easy peasy. So, Overdrive Sin. Again, it's got to be summon Bahamut, Impulse from range, and just basically take it down as quickly as possible. So basically, Seymour Flux was the last time a character was used to deal damage to an enemy. And well, technically I guess Armor Break against Sanctuary Keeper. That was the last time. Yeah, no need for Armor Break, no need for anything. Yuna still has 3 sphere levels left. I'm not sure if they're going to be cashed in or not. Well, she's picked up a few more since then anyway because of the boss battles, but Surely there's going to be one more kind of spurt of stuff there. 71,000, that's nuts. That is nuts. Was that a critical or a normal hit? If it was a critical, then fine, but if it was a normal hit, again, it's been perfectly done. There you go. Just about. I think that was very, very, very close. It was just over the edge of being 2 hits. Into Sin we go. Literally an hour and 50 minutes ago, roughly, we were still in Luca. Like from Luca to Inside Sin in an hour and 50 minutes. I think that's the crazy part. Like the whole run being 3 hours is obviously insane, but Luca to Inside Sin being from like 55 minutes to 2 hours and 46 is just absolutely ridiculous. Wow. Like the way things accelerate in this run, like first of all when Tidus becomes OP, he breaks forward and just gets an insane amount of strength very quickly. That's the first breakout, and then you have the Yuna breakout, and then from there it becomes an absolute destruction fest. Now this one, I think it can be armor broken, right? Because the damage being done didn't seem like it was enough to take it out in one hit, so you don't want to get banished. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, an armor break is coming. That makes sense. Just in time, again, before Seymour even gets a move. Bahamut should be able to obviously one-hit KO now. It should be 99,999. And then from here, it's going to be, well, it's 89,000, not quite absolute max, but obviously enough to get the job done. From here, it's going to be the crystal minigame. I assume, again, the speedrunner's got to be super good at that, and they don't have problems with like bumping into any of the icicles. Definitely something worth watching here. I'm pretty sure like the spawn points and the positions of these crystals are probably predetermined. Let's see to what extent he basically runs to where they spawn anyway. Maybe not then, honestly, because it seems like he's coming to a more central area and trying to see where they spawn from. So there must be a bit of randomness to it, maybe. But I assume you really can't get hit here. Obviously, if you're at the elite level and you're looking for like a world record-esque time, it probably loses you like 15 seconds or something. In either case, of course, expertly done. The final boss battles. So Brass's Fine Leon, of course, has the two forms, 60,000 and then 120,000. Is Bahamut going to be able to withstand the phase transition, because it does the sword swipe between them? So final sphere grid work here. Spare change, okay. So a little something different is going to happen. It's not just going to be Bahamut just completely spamming, because it doesn't have the HP to stay alive. Zombie strike as well. Interesting. Wow. Let's see how this is handled. There's a little bit more to it than I thought. I didn't even catch where the zombie strike happened. I'll probably have to edit that in. I don't know if that was a weapon drop or if that was a customization. In either case, Chaos Grenade happens. Silence, damage, poison, and the Youth Pagoda stop, of course. Bit of delay here, making sure that he doesn't do anything. So Bahamut does set things rolling here. Perhaps spare change is going to be used against Yu Yevon and not against Brass's Fine Leon. That might be the case. Might be a quick way to make sure you hit them, because you have low accuracy, so that could be a problem. 93. So you probably give Bahamut enough HP, and he has enough defense to probably survive a sword swipe. Yeah, okay, there you go. So the torque kicked in there, and then he can do maximum damage. Ah, nice. Only took eject beam. I mean, that was a nice outcome. I'm pretty sure he could have survived everything anyway there. But yeah, Bahamut gets us over the line. So basically, for like all of the difficult boss battles at the end of the game, from Seymour Natus onwards, the Bahamut show begins, and he just basically slaps everything out in the game. From then onwards, that's just crazy. Okay, let's see how this goes, because I did see spare change get used. I think for maybe like Shiva or something, or Valifor even, spare change is probably the better thing. I didn't even check how much gil he had at this stage. Yeah, Titus' accuracy is not great. He's got good strength, but not great accuracy, so yeah, it's better to go for spare change. 147,000 gil? Wow. Nice number. There you go. And spare change does 10% of the amount of gil that you throw. And that's another benefit of keeping Yuna and the summon's HP as low as possible. Again, it's all just like very tight optimization. If you just take all of the HP spheres that you can get, because why the hell not, then you need more gil to be able to use this strategy at the end, and then you might not have enough. So if every Aeon ends up having an extra 1,000 or 2,000 HP, you multiply that out, that's like an extra 100,000 gil that you'd need that you probably don't have. And so that's why, again, everything is just so well interlinked together. It's a really nice, like, domino, basically, system, where if you screw one thing up, everything else is going to fail too. Like, literally activating one extra HP node that you shouldn't have can basically ruin the entire run, like the entire rest of the run. And when I say ruin, again, at the elite level, like if you waste like 30 seconds extra or a minute extra because of a mistake you made, that obviously could be the difference maker. So, but yeah, it seems like it's spare change all the way, not taking any risks with any physical attacks here. Or maybe some of them, I don't know. I would have thought for something like Ifrit, they would have just attacked it normally, but I guess their defense stats are pretty high as a result of the general scaling that they've been having as well. I don't know. I feel like Tidus could surely one-hit KO them with his strength, and so could Yuna, to be honest, but spare change is the safest bet, I guess. Never misses. Yeah, this is definitely one you're going to want to spare change, and there should be just enough money left at the end to make sure you clear out Bahamut as well. And so it's kind of funny to end the challenge with spare change. I love that. Again, it's not something I would have assumed that would be done. I thought maybe, again, Tidus just attacks, Yuna attacks, maybe there's some overdrives left over at the end so you don't miss. But no, it's spare change because you just accumulate enough gil throughout the run to have enough to kill all of your Aeons with spare change. It's beautiful, it really is. I'm very, very impressed. So, of course, once all this is said and done, it is time for Yu Yevon. Waka gives him the zombie strike, and then the Phoenix Down comes to play, and it's game over. 2 hours, 58 minutes, and 10 seconds for Oddmog. What an incredible time, and only a few minutes off the world record. So thank you so much to Oddmog for allowing me to use the footage and share this with you guys. It's been really fun to experience a Final Fantasy X speedrun for the first time, basically about 20 years after I first played the game. It's definitely been incredibly interesting to see. I mean, I've not been able to really predict it as I've been going along. Obviously, mechanically, after I see what happens, I'm understanding why they're being done. But as I'm watching the run, I can't really tell like what's going to happen next for a lot of it. And there's definitely a few things that I just completely didn't understand. Like, for example, the tutorial thing. I just didn't really get why that happened. Like the Fungar battle and then the one Basilisk battle, where you trigger it and then you run away. Like, I have no idea why that's a thing. Very interesting. But I just have to take my hat off to, of course, Oddmog himself for an incredible run. But in general, the community around Final Fantasy X speedrunning, I first, of course, heard of speedrunning and the discussion about it maybe in like 2006, 2007 when I first started visiting the GameFAQs forums. And even then, of course, like FAQs were written on how to speedrun the game, and people had already posted some incredible times. And so it's been basically a journey for the community that's lasted like at least a good 20, 22 years of people just incrementally figuring out how to create the absolute best run for this game. And so if anybody decided to try and attempt to do a Final Fantasy X speedrun, obviously the smartest thing to do is to watch the world record, watch some of the best times. There's guides that have been written for it, do your research and study the run and see what needs to be done, and then try to execute it as best as you can, while obviously gaining more experience, gaining more knowledge of the game, and maybe figuring out ways in which you can even improve on what's currently being done. But I think to be able to do that, to be able to contribute, you have to really develop a deep understanding not just of the game, but specifically of the speedrun route and all of the optimizations and decision making that goes into creating a strategy like the ones you guys have just seen. And so it stands on the shoulders of giants. It's a community effort that's lasted this long, and some incredibly talented and clever people have really put their minds to the test to kind of figure out what is the best way to run through this game, and to basically set out like a checklist of things that you need to do in a very specific way to get the best time possible. So I'm just incredibly impressed and very glad that I finally got to see how this is done. So I hope it was enlightening for you guys as well. I hope you all enjoyed it. I had a really good time seeing how they put this together. And in the future, if there are any like breakthroughs in speedrunning, like someone kind of puts in a new crazy world record or comes up with a new strategy, now that I know what the current kind of 2024 best strategy is for a world record-esque time, at least I'll be able to compare it to what's been done before. And so it should make it all the more interesting. So even if on a personal level it hasn't made me want to do a speedrun per se, like it hasn't changed my opinion on like my own personal relationship with speedrunning for a game like Final Fantasy X, it has made me even more appreciative of like the speedrunning art form, and just generally an even bigger fan of like the work and the strategy that these guys have come up with to complete this game as quickly as they have. So thank you all for watching. I hope you'll enjoy it. And of course, one final time, thank you so much to Oddmog. I almost never make content like this where I use other people's footage in this way to create something, but the speedrun is a very specific niche for me, and it's not really something that I could do myself, and so I needed to rely on an expert to provide me the footage in order to be able to kind of check it out and react to it. So yeah, just a huge thank you for giving me the opportunity to create a piece of content like this, and I hope many people show Oddmog some love and support him in his future speedrunning endeavors. See you guys soon. Take care.